Welcome back to Have More Babies. Today, we're getting into something really important for, well, pretty much all parents at some point, choosing the right pediatrician. It's a big decision, whether you're a new parent, maybe you've moved, or you're just thinking about making a switch. We've looked through a lot of info to pull out the key things you need to know to sort of help you navigate this.
It really is a big one. Finding the right pediatrician, it's not just, checking a box. It's about building a partnership, really, for your child's health,
Hmm.
right from the start all the way through their teens. Their expertise in child health is just invaluable.
Okay, so you know you need one, but where do you, start looking? Seems the best advice is often close to home.
Exactly. Think about who you already trust. Your family, friends, maybe your OBGYN or your own doctor, even your midwife. Chances are they've been there or they know someone who has, and they can give you some real insights, beyond just reading reviews online.
Right, the real world perspective. And then there's the actual research part, putting together a list and really checking them out.
Yeah, doing a bit of homework, make a list of potential names, and then dig a little deeper, check their qualifications, maybe with the state medical board.
Why is that check specifically so important?
Well, board certification, which you can verify there, it basically means the doctor completed specialized training in pediatrics and passed some tough exams. It shows a certain level of expertise and that they're keeping up with things. And, while you're looking, online forums can offer parent experiences, but maybe take those with a grain of salt sometimes.
Good point. Okay, let's shift to the practical stuff, the things that affect your day to day. Office location and hours seem obvious, but maybe more important than we think.
Oh, absolutely. Convenience matters a lot, especially when you've got a sick kid or those frequent baby checkups.
Mm.
Being close to home or work, that saves time, reduces stress, and many doctors get that it's about more than just location, which leads to the next step.
The meet and greet. That sounds like a great idea. A quick chat before you commit.
Exactly. Lots of practices offer it, often free. It's your chance to just get a feel for the doctor's personality, how they communicate, see if you click.
That comfort level really seems crucial, doesn't it?
It's everything. You need to feel you can trust them and talk openly. But beyond the doctor themselves, the whole office setup matters too.
Right. Let's talk about that. We mentioned location, maybe parking or transit access. What else should you look out for when you're checking out the actual office?
Take a look around when you're there, maybe for that meet and greet. Is it clean? Does the waiting room feel, reasonably comfortable? How long do people seem to be waiting? And how easy is it to get through on the phone? That can tell you a lot about how organized they are.
And the people working there, the receptionist, nurses, billing folks.
Definitely. Are they friendly? Helpful? They're a big part of your experience. It's also worth asking if they have any specialists in the practice or who they refer to. And crucially, do they have a 24-hour line or process for urgent questions after hours?
Super important. Okay, what about their rules and how they run things? Policies.
Yeah, you need to understand their basics. Office hours, obviously. How they handle emergencies. And, a big one, insurance. Make sure they take your plan. Our sources mentioned lots of common ones, like Aetna, CVS Health, Blue Cross, Blue Shield GA, Peach Care for Kids, Cigna, Humana, United Healthcare. You get the idea. Check your specific plan.
Always check your specific plan. Good reminder. What else on the policy front?
Things like how they handle billing is a clear, and appointment scheduling. How flexible are they? Can you usually see the doctor you prefer? If it's a group practice, little things that add up.
Okay, makes sense. So let's say you're at that meet and greet, or maybe even the first appointment. What are the key questions you should be asking the pediatrician directly?
Right. This is where you really gauge the fit. Ask about their experience, how long they've been practicing, their background,
Yeah.
any particular areas they focus on.
And something that's really important to many parents, their philosophy on vaccinations.
Absolutely critical.
Yeah.
You need to be on the same page about preventative care basics like immunizations. It builds trust.
What about just being able to reach them? Availability.
Key question. What are their regular hours? How do they handle things if your child gets sick suddenly or after hours? Is there an on-call doctor? What's the best way to ask non-urgent questions?
And how they interact with you, the parent.
Yeah, how do they approach communication? Are they good listeners? Do they explain things clearly? How involved do they expect parents to be in decisions?
That partnership idea again. Do they feel like a partner?
Exactly. And maybe ask about their views on things like alternative therapies, if that's relevant to you, their approach to nutrition and feeding issues.
What about behavior? Or if a child has special needs?
Good questions to ask their experience with behavioral concerns, developmental delays, or chronic conditions. And definitely ask about their hospital affiliations. Where would your child go if they needed hospital care?
Okay, so you've asked the questions, done the research, maybe found someone you like. What about that first actual visit? How should parents prepare?
A little prep helps a lot. Gather your child's medical records, your insurance card, any past test results. Have it ready. Makes things smoother.
And for the child, especially if they're a bit older.
Yeah, talk to them beforehand. Let them know what to expect. The doctor will listen to their heart, check their ears, maybe ask some questions. Encourage them to ask questions too. It can really help ease any nerves.
So during the appointment itself, what's the typical flow?
Usually starts with the basics, measuring weight, height, maybe temperature. The nurse often handles that,
Then the doctor comes in.
right? And they'll likely start by asking questions, getting the medical history, any past illnesses, allergies, current medications, how they're eating, sleeping, family history too. Be open and honest here.
The more info they have, the better.
Exactly. Then comes the physical exam, checking eyes, ears, heart, lungs, reflexes, the works. They'll also assess development. Are they hitting milestones for their age? Thinking, moving, talking.
And after the exam,
They'll discuss what they found, give you advice on things like nutrition, safety, maybe upcoming immunizations. If they have concerns, they might suggest tests or screenings.
what if they suspect something more serious, like needing a specialist?
That's when they'll make a referral. Say, if they hear a heart murmur, they might send you to a pediatric cardiologist. It's really important to follow through on those referrals. The pediatrician and specialist work together.
Got it. How long does a typical checkup usually last?
Generally, maybe 20 to 30 minutes for a routine checkup. The very first visit might be longer, especially with history taking and lots of questions.
And building that relationship over time seems key.
Absolutely. Trust and open communication are the foundation. Feeling comfortable sharing concerns, asking questions when you don't understand something.
And, well, actually following their advice, right?
That helps too. Following the treatment plans and medication instructions is obviously crucial for your child's health.
You mentioned something earlier, evidence-based practice. Can you unpack that a bit? Why is it important in pediatrics?
Sure. Evidence-based medicine basically means doctors use the best available current scientific evidence from studies, clinical trials, research to make decisions about care. It's especially vital for kids because, well, they're not just small adults. They're growing, changing, they react differently to things, and often they can't tell you exactly what's wrong.
So doctors rely more on objective signs and proven treatments.
Precisely. Relying on solid evidence ensures treatments are effective and safe, based on science, not just tradition or guesswork. It keeps care up to date.
Okay, that makes sense. We touched on questions earlier, but are there any other specific interview-style questions that really help you assess the fit?
Yeah, definitely. Things like, how long have you been practicing? Can you describe your overall philosophy of care? Are you solo or part of a group? If it's a group, can I usually see you or will I see other providers too?
Practical things about appointments, too.
Right. How long do you typically schedule for checkups? How do you handle sick visits same day? Walk-ins? Is there an emergency line? How do you handle routine questions between visits, phone calls, emails, patient portal? Any charges for that?
Good ones. What about newer things like telehealth?
Worth asking, do they offer virtual visits? And one more I'd ask, do you have separate waiting areas for sick kids and well kids? Helps prevent spreading germs.
That's a really smart one, especially with little babies going for checkups. So, bottom line, finding the right pediatrician is really about finding a partner.
That's the core message. Someone you trust, who listens, who guides you. Finding that fit makes a huge difference for your child's health and, honestly, for your peace of mind as a parent.
It really does. And, if you happen to be in the Roswell, Alpharetta, or Milton areas here in Georgia, and you're looking for that kind of dedicated pediatric team, we definitely recommend checking out omegapediatrics.com. They have a lot of information on their site about their doctors, their services, how they approach care. You can learn more, even book an appointment or schedule one of those meet and greets we talked about, see if they feel like the right fit for your family. Again, that's omegapediatrics.com.
Yeah, definitely worth a look if you're in that area. Finding that trusted partner is just so important.
Well, that about wraps up our conversation on choosing a pediatrician. We really hope this gave you some useful things to think about and some clear steps you can take. If you found this helpful, please do give this video a like, subscribe to the channel for more discussions like this, and maybe share it with other parents who might be going through this search right now.
Thanks for tuning in today.
And thank you for sharing all that great insight.
My pleasure.
Hmm.
Maybe a final thought for everyone listening? Take a moment to reflect on what qualities you value most in a healthcare partner for your child. And then think about how you'll actively work to build that strong, open relationship with whoever you choose.
Great point. Okay, goodbye for now, everyone.